It's going well, Dave. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Thanks for joining me. Start off with some introductions. I'm Dave Walker from Independent Mechanical Supply. I'm the head of data here at Independent. I've been volunteering with the Yes Committee now for a number of years, and welcome to our Spill the Tea series that we're doing. Can I kick it to you to introduce yourself and your role, and how long you've been in the industry?
I'm Jerry Dineno with Independent Mechanical Supply. I am the sales development manager here, and I've been in industry. I would say going on north of 25 years in some capacity.
25 years. I feel like no one ends up, dreaming as little kids of being in the plumbing and heating industry. But so that aside, why have you stayed? Forget how you got here, but why'd you stay all this time?
I think that's a very good question because I think a lot of people focus on the part that you just mentioned previously. But you know what? The truth is that it really has to do with the relationships from the people. Starting as a young person many years ago in a pipe shop, and working through university and so forth, you get to meet a lot of different people, and always been attracted to the relationships that built with particularly customers and the employees over the years. It's an industry that has lots of opportunity, immense growth opportunities, and surrounded by core values and good people. And I think like any other industry, there might be some things that are more exciting than others, and things that are less exciting. But people drive me, and truthfully have driven my decision to continue to grow within this industry.
It's awesome. I can't agree more. I think one of the things I've always attributed to a lot of the people in this industry is just down to earth, good people. So with you dealing with you're in sales, and people on the relationship side of things is a really big piece of that. I think if you talk to anyone in the industry, relationships come up a lot. With forging relationships with customers, what's something that you try to do to help strengthen those bonds?
Where I am today versus where I was a long time ago, there's different approaches to that, but it comes with a lot of things in life, with life experiences. I guess a lot of maturity and basically experience. Try to find value, right? I mean, everybody wants to work with people that they like. People want to have positive experiences, and the better we can understand our customers' needs, the better successful I think that we've been able to align ourselves. Trying to be things that we can't be successful at is challenging. And I think through the growth of my career, and I'm sure of many, setting expectations to be successful is super important. And I really try my best to implement that vision to my guys and my teams and the people that work with me, and our partners, customers as well. I mean, we're in this together. I set very high expectations, I think, of people that work with me and myself, but achievable expectations, and ones that are value for the individual or for the customer.
It's kind of a bit of that, don't overpromise and underdeliver piece, I guess, right? Like you
learn that. I mean, trust me, I've overpromised many times, and I'm certainly underdelivered. If you ask some people, and in some cases probably still continue to do that. But it's a work in progress. It's really trying to get to understand what value we can add, and it's different for different customers, and it's different for different coworkers, and it's different for anyone in life. But trying our best to align those and align the expectations, I think has been a key point in our success and our hopefully continued growth.
Nice, awesome. You mentioned setting expectations for your team, and you've had a career path of you talked about working your way up from being in the pipe shop and then getting into sales. For a long time you were in outside sales, and then you've been somewhat recently moved into more management role where you're managing the previous versions of the outside sales, right? So what's that transition been like when you were boots on the pavement to now managing boots on the pavement?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. I mean, never really lose some of the boots on the pavement. That's kind of there, and it's kind of instilled in you, and it's kind of still some of the things that motivate you on a day-to-day. You still get super excited about some of those wins, and I really try my best to get out and be in front of my guys and their customers. It's something that's important to me because it gives me a good read on the relationship, and I think I can I can be impactful that way. But utilizing information and data now, and I know everybody talks about this and it sounds a little hokey dokey, but it really is important. There's tools out there that that weren't available when I was doing this, and it's not necessarily just used today for a measurement, although it should be in some cases. It's a driver. We utilize things that we have in the past to be able to analyze things and to build a more direct focus. And when I got into this a long time ago in sales, we woke up every day and sold. It's been doing this since day one, 17 some odd years ago. And we hit the pavement running, and literally delivering 3 and 4 inch copper in the back of a truck, 3 lengths at a time, and 7 trips to many customers' surprise. But part of that is invigorating. Some of that you kind of miss sometimes, but it's all part of getting you to where you are today.
Nice. Yeah, it's like classic quote from The Office about you don't realize you're in the good old days when you're in them, sort of thing. Even though delivering 5 pieces of copper in your car probably isn't always the good old days. But anyways, I digress. The theme of this call is supposed to be coffee or tea. You're supposed to pretend we're in a bit of a coffee house, so a bit of a curveball. What's your go-to coffee order?
You know what? I think I would probably just an espresso would be that, or a Americano if I was feeling adventurous. But to be honest, it would definitely be a glass of red wine if that was on the menu. Maybe not during the day, but at a later point, that would probably be a glass of wine and some Power BI on my computer.
Nice.
Yeah.
So CIPH and Yes, the Young Executive Society is putting on this speaker series, and you've been in the industry for a long time, involved with CIPH. I've seen you at Yes events. So just wondering if you could speak a little bit to your experience at these CIPH and Yes events and industry events and association events in general, and the value that they bring.
Yeah, networking as a whole in any industry, but particularly in this industry, it is super important. Getting to know the people that you're working with, especially for young executives and people that aspire to be executives and have long-lasting careers within this industry. Back to the original point that people are the difference, but getting out there and getting to meet the people, get in front of them, handshake, introduce yourself, share experiences, get to know people's personal life, and experiences. It makes all the difference. Some of our biggest forged relationships in our business in independent has come from interactions at certain associations like Yes, MCAT. Huge opportunities and relationships and foundations have been built through interactions over the many years in those associations. And I strongly would encourage the young people in this industry to stay engaged, get engaged. It makes a difference.
For sure. Awesome. I appreciate that. It's I couldn't agree more. A lot of the different obviously in my past I was on the purchasing side, but Yes and CIPH being that glue, if you will, that was able to help solidify some of those relationships. And emails and calls about pricing can only go so far, but getting you in the same room, working together, whether it's a networking event, team building event, whatever, it helps. And I'm very thankful for CIPH, for Yes, for being able to put some stuff like that on. It's very helpful.
Absolutely.
Classic question. What's something that you wish you knew sooner throughout your career?
You wish you knew what you knew now, you knew then, and probably there's a million of those, but really everybody is trying to do the same thing. And I learned through some experiences and pain and extra effort. You need a team to be successful. And although you might have the ability to do it yourself from a technical standpoint or from a physical standpoint, at some point you're going to need others to be able to do it. So investing time and energy, and sometimes just taking a step back when it's needed to make sure others are having a positive experience and are you're building with them, and that comes with experience.
Nice. So drilling down on the relationships piece again, just constantly what I'm hearing is that no matter if it's customer, coworker, vendor, putting effort into the relationships in a genuine way is what one of the top things that you find.
Yeah, absolutely. And it if it's done honestly, it's successful.
Yeah, can't agree more. More of a hot topic. What do you find is like one of the hot trends or where the industry's going?
You know what? It's I think there's a lot of interesting things going on in today in the market, and I think a lot of what's happening today is making some standard practices not so standard anymore. I think a lot of people are choosing to pivot and required to pivot into some different directions, and although that's not always so easy, being flexible is super important. The whole piece that we've spent quite some time on in the last little while, that's becoming more and more prevalent every single day, is the data piece, the AI piece. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm not the most analytical, data driven person, although I have a decent understanding of it and use it day to day. But the AI piece is something that is very intriguing. There's a lot of things that have been developed, a lot of tools and technologies that are going to continue to drive and businesses forward. And in my mind, it will only continue to highlight the importance of the strength of the relationships that we have. It's not something that is going to downgrade that at all. I think it's going to be an added value. People are going to value more those relationships and those that are able to build them, because other tangible tasks will be done by computers.
I think it's a great take. I think there's a lot of timidness, if you will, about AI and automation and all that sort of thing, because we've talked a lot about the people side of things, the relationships. If we automate everything, does that take away from that? But I think what you're saying is being able to almost double click on the relationships, because you're not doing the minutia anymore. You're able to speak person to person more, because you're not doing the grunt work in the background.
Yeah, and you know what, and like many things, if we're able to be successful with that, because of the relationships, we'll share that. We'll share that with our customers. We'll share that with our circles that we interact with on a daily basis, and that will hopefully continue to empower other people to have that same potential success and growth, and continue that strive for partnership alignment. And we need to be able to move and to be flexible, but align together. And that's where I see this tool and this data piece and AI adding value for sure.
Nice. I love that. All right. Last question, really important one. So you're expressed a little bit more interest in the wine than the coffee. So then what type of wine are you sipping on?
You know what? It's definitely a red wine, particularly from somewhere in Italy would be my typical choice, but I'm not too picky. I'm not too picky.
As long as it's red.
You know what? Actually, lately it's been white because it's been too hot. But it's a glass of red wine and maybe a Kit Kat stick in the backyard might be right up my alley.
Love that. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry, thanks so much for taking the time to chat today. I think there were a lot of great takeaways and insights. I know you're a busy guy, so I really appreciate you carving out some time for this. Being part of the industry for so long, it helps people that are looking at these videos, watching these videos, trying to get involved with Yes and CIPH. It's a great organization that helps people network and meet other people in the industry, and having someone such as yourself that's been in the industry as long as you have, it's nice to hear some of your takeaways and get the sharing of your experience. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Absolutely. Happy to be a part of this, and look forward to to seeing the lots of young and engaged people continue to develop within our industry and make this the success that it has been and continue to push us forward.
Awesome. Perfect.
Thanks, Dave.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right, take care.
Take care.